I know, buddy, I know. I wish we could keep moving too. We're right on the edge of the badlands.
Well, I would go as far as to say that we still are in the wasteland. Without the roamer here to flee, I am a sitting duck. I need to find a way to get the truck free, soon.
I'm scared that the raiders can follow our tracks, but I can't move this boulder. It's just too big. It's too heavy, and it's hard as rock.
Yeah, funny that. It's almost like it's made of rock. Weird. Regardless, I can't get through this with my measly stone pickaxe.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I can, but that's not the point of the story that I'm trying to tell. Anyway, I thought it would be wise to take a look around where we are stranded.
Come on, let's see if there's anyone around. Maybe there's a... Well, watch your step. Maybe there's someone that can help.
As I took the first few steps into the green grass of the glades, I was overcome with a sense of freedom. Fresh air filled my nostrils and tickled my lungs.
Oh, hang on, bud, look. Wow, it's almost like this was part of the plot. There's a house up there, buddy. Do you see that? Maybe whoever lives there can help us. Come on.
Perched precariously on the edge of a stony peak was a little house. Solitude to the rest of the glades, looking over the wasteland. Buddy and I decided to go over there and ask for help. Perhaps this person knew a way to help us get unstuck and continue our journey. Along the way though, I spotted some carrots.
Oh, perfect, some carrots. Oh, it's good to be out of the wasteland. I know that you're not much of a vegetarian, but would you care for some carrots, boy?
Evidently not. Buddy didn't want any carrots, and that surprised me because dogs love carrots, right? That's a thing.
Get on with it.
Well, strange game mechanics aside, on the way up to this house, Buddy and I stumbled across something quite peculiar. In the hillside, there was a large prehistoric beast trapped in stone forevermore.
This looks like a solid bone of a large, very large, maybe prehistoric creature. There's been many attempts to recreate fossils of this size, but I guess no one's been out this far to actually find one this well preserved. But for now, we need to climb this mountain.
As fascinating as this was to discover, we could not stop and stare. The sun threatened to set quickly if we did not get up to this house and seek help. Not knowing if this person could speak English, as I got closer, I decided to make my presence known and shout out. After all, I wanted to make a good reputation for myself in the glade.
Hello?
Hey, hello.
Excuse me.
Who goes there? You're no raider, right?
Yes. Wait, no, I mean no.
For safety, I brandished the revolver that I found in the bandit outpost.
I'm approaching. Yes, I have a weapon.
All right, no sudden movements. I'm just a farmer.
I cautiously made my way towards the person's voice. Cresting this hill and peeping over this bush, I made eye contact with what seemed to be a friendly farmer, and he seemed to have a faint idea of where I was from.
What are you, from the wasteland?
Yes,
I can smell you from here.
Okay, was it that obvious?
Of course. Now put that dumb pistol down and get over here.
Okay, you speak fluent English.
Of course I do, you idiot.
Oh, sorry, I guess it was just a common trope amongst the people in the wasteland. Maybe jealousy struck them as a...
Anyway, get to
Okay.
it. Why are you here? What brings you to my bountiful farm?
You see, just down there on the cliff, I don't know if you maybe you heard the commotion, but I seem to have gotten my earth roamer stuck.
I turned around and the guy was gone. Maybe he was tending to his bountiful farm. What a joke.
Hey, I heard that, you know.
I didn't. How can you hear me? I'm talking in a voiceover. Anyway, I found the farmer by his house, and he was telling me he might know a way to get the roamer unstuck. Dynamite. Now, while I've never used dynamite before, I do know that it's dangerous. So naturally, I asked.
There's no other way. That's it.
You gotta trust me on this one. Dynamite solves all problems.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad that this guy's a farmer and not a demo man. I mean, if this guy had access to TNT, who knows what he would do? The way he's talking about dynamite makes me think he just might marry it. But he was kind enough to tell me how to make some of my own.
You wouldn't want to come down and give me a hand, would you?
Hell no.
Okay.
While he didn't want to come down and help me, he assured me that one small block would be enough to blow that smolder to boulder to smithereens. So with no better options, I took his word for it. I headed back down towards the roamer and started to form a little plan in my head of how I was going to gather these resources. It won't be easy, but I got nothing else.
So we need to find gunpowder and sand, buddy, and pack them together tightly to make some dynamite. And I can use gunpowder and a spark will ignite the powder and set off the charge. And hopefully blowing that boulder to smithereens. But I just have to be careful, buddy, because too much will, well, it'll destroy the earth rimmer itself.
Now, if that's not a prime example of foreshadowing, I don't know what is. But because it wasn't long until nighttime, I was actually able to use this subpar pickaxe to extract some ore and minerals from the ground and neighboring caves. But even with these minerals and ores, I would need somewhere to get them up to hot enough temperatures to work on them. Luckily though, there's a little trick that I know about in making a little makeshift kiln out of mud and straw. Once I was happy with the lack of ore and minerals, I decided to head back and start making this kiln.
I'm gonna get some of this mud, bud, alright? Mud, bud.
Luckily I managed to get the roamer stuck in a fortunate position. This lake harbored some mud. Mud that will be...
Well, that's just great.
Well, after I finished gathering as much mud as I could with my bare hands, the sun was setting and the shadows were creeping up on me. Using the last sliver of daylight, I gathered some straw using a flint knife and cutting down some grass. And with a little bit of a clearing made, I was able to lay down the foundations of this kiln. As the temperature gets hotter, the mud will harden, and the straw, protected on the inside, is used for support.
Alright, but I'm gonna extinguish the fire, but I'm gonna go on a bit of an expedition, alright? I need to get some gunpowder from those monsters. So you're gonna have to stay put, alright?
The only reliable source of gunpowder in the lands is by killing these green monsters at night. Unfortunately though, it's not going to be an easy feat. As I'm sure you know, when the sun sets, the monsters come out and things get dangerous.
Oh no, the whispers, buddy, the whispers! Ow!
One such terror in these lands, and arguably the most dangerous, is the whispers. They are flying abominations that prey on insanity. While one poses not much of a threat, I was lucky that night, as typically they can hunt in groups, numbers as high as 16. I knew that this stray whisper wouldn't be all that I would see tonight. Well, because I'm looking for monsters. But I needed to keep my wits about me, as even though I'm in the glade, that doesn't mean that I'm free of danger. The night was going smoothly, for the most part. I was able to keep my distance with this crossbow and take down these foes one at a time. But as fate would have it, the weather would turn sour, and it would start raining on me that night. Given that I don't want to stay here for too long, I gave it much thought and, well, I chose to stay out and keep hunting during the night. The rain aided in my stealth, masking my footsteps and keeping visibility low. I ended up spending most of the night out hunting and had a pretty good turnout. I got enough gunpowder for 1 block of dynamite and a fairly long fuse, so I went back and tried to get some sleep. The rains, having passed from the previous night, left the morning feeling calm and soothing.
Alright, buddy. Let's get to work, shall we? Where'd you go? Hey? Let's get to work, bud. So I'm gonna, I got the gunpowder that we need. Next thing we need is sand, but I sort of want to get this little foundry finished, so I need some more straw. For that I need grass, and there's a bunch over here, so come on, bud. Wow. What was that? What was that?
While I could gather up the sand and make this gunpowder and blast this boulder and get out of here, I wanted to make use of the resources I had around. I wanted to finish this kiln and smelt this ore. I didn't plan on staying another night though, so I wanted to make this quick. Now, editor's note, I don't know what music to put here. Let's try this. Okay, no, definitely not. Ooh, yeah, I like this, but it's not really fitting for building a kiln. What about something a little more laid back? Yeah, here we go, this is more like it. Just a man and his dog out in the wilderness surviving. Not a care in the world other than surviving.
So we'll let that smoke away, but now, buddy, we can try and build this this dynamite. So I think sand.
The peaceful, relaxing music will now slowly fade because the piece of dynamite, I have it in my hand. This cubic meter of dynamite, huge amount of dynamite, will be the key to our freedom. Its role, once wedged in between a crack in the boulder, will be to explode. What else does it? It's not going to do my taxes for me. But once this thing was placed in the crack, I didn't want to set it off just yet as I wasn't ready. I had some ore smelting in the kiln that I needed to go get, and well, I made a nice pair of shiny leggings. Well, I don't know what they're gonna protect, really. Maybe my mid-thigh and mid-shin. But before we blow this boulder to smithereens, there was one more thing that I wanted to do. I noticed there were some sheep in the field.
Here, sheepy, sheepy, sheepy. What are they? What? How do you call a sheep, bud? It's more of a goat. Ah! Mary had a little lamb, and that little lamb is right before me. Here, buddy, I'm not gonna... Ow, what the... Oh, wow! I don't know how you did that.
I don't know the anatomy of sheep and how they work in this game, but it seemed like that one had a full coat of wool, locked and loaded, ready to eject as soon as someone sheared it. Anyway, that's not my problem. What I wanted to do was something a little bit special for my pal Buddy.
Alright, now if I just cut one of these slabs up and put a cushion on top of it, pin it down with some sticks. Buddy, look! What do you reckon? A stool of your... Oh!
Now, Buddy can't speak English, but if he could, I'm sure that he would personally thank the person who commented on the previous video saying that I should make Buddy a seat so that he is comfy on the long drives. And I agree, it's not just long drives, but it's incredibly rough terrain. But with Buddy now having a permanent position inside the Roma, it's time to light the fuse. We gotta get back to safety.
The gunpowder has been laid. I repeat, the gunpowder has been laid. And as you can see, me and you are going to be safe and sound from the distance here. We're going to hide behind this tree, because if that rock explodes, there could be pebbles and rubble going for miles. Alright, buddy. Come over here. Alright, yeah, you stay there, that's fine. Alright, buddy, with one spark from this flint and steel, it should ignite the powder. And it should trail along all the way until the dynamite. So, here goes nothing. Whoa!
In a weird game of cat and mouse, the flame was chasing the powder down the line towards the dynamite. And before I knew it, I had to cover my ears.
Oh! Well, it worked, buddy, but... Oh no, I think I may have damaged the roamer. Oh no. I don't know how to work on these things.
Yeah, having a closer look, it looked really bad. I don't know whether I got some materials wrong or maybe the farmer set me up for failure from the beginning. He just wanted to have a laugh. Either way, luckily nothing was destroyed in the explosion. All of the components were still here, just on the ground, not on the roamer. On the bright side though, the boulder was gone and all 4 wheels were on the ground. This wheel was barely holding on, but it's definitely a step forward in the right direction.
You stay here in case it goes awry. I'm gonna see if I can get it to drive out of here. I'm not sure. I honestly have no idea what it's gonna do, but it's worth a shot.
I hopped aboard the Earth Roamer and jumped into the command seat, and I gripped the levers with my 2 hands. Okay, it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, and it's because I don't. I didn't know which systems still worked and which were broken on the roamer, but with a bit of a wiggle it seemed to be free.
Okay.
Something certainly didn't feel right though. It felt like it had half as much power, and the steering was sluggish and it seemed to be struggling. I kept my eyes on the prize though. I wanted to get it out of the lake so I could work on it there.
Oh boy, I don't think it's doing too well. Let me try and get it out onto this flat, buddy.
I was able to squeeze just a few blocks more of movement out of the roamer, but it seems like the tire is holding it back. But as I tried to climb the bank on the other side, it hit me. The front wheels aren't spinning at all, of course. There's no axles powering the wheels. So I hopped out and took the components that I gathered from the blast site and laid them out on the ground. I had to try and fix this thing in the water.
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. What have I got here? I've got a vertical gearbox. I'm assuming that would have... Okay, let me lay out these parts.
With everything laid out in front of me, I really started to feel just how smooth my brain was. I hadn't the faintest idea of what these parts were and where they were supposed to go. I resorted to taking a look at the roamer, at the back half specifically. I had all the same components here, so I just laid them out on the front as they were on the back.
I'm assuming it's similar to the back, so I'm just gonna remake it as it is on the back. Attach that to there. We got the vertical gearbox.
Alright, bit by bit, piece by piece, I was building the front end of this roamer back together like I knew what I was doing. It's almost like I knew how to build it because I designed it. And for those of you asking, yes, there will be a build tutorial coming soon. But let's get back on track.
Okay, so the wheel is not looking good though. It's definitely seen better days. But that might drive now. Alright, buddy, I think we're in business. If I release the clutch, all 4 wheels should be... Yes, there we go. Oh, hang on, we need to quickly get out of here though. There is a hole right up ahead. So our front right wheel is not in optimal condition, but that's okay. These things are hardy.
I really wasn't sure how long the wheel would last. I can see straight through it, there's holes in it. So I needed to get it somewhere safe, somewhere I could work on it, where I wouldn't be interrupted by the denizens of the dark. I thought for a moment, and then a moment more. And then I decided to think again. And I came to the conclusion that the farmer's place would be perfect. There was a patch of flat level ground just outside his house, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me staying a few extra days. So I tried to crawl up the cliff, but the roamer didn't have enough power. Luckily, if my memory serves me correctly, I've heard that these things have 2 gears, one for off-road and one for on-road. Maybe we can get a little bit more power out of this roamer.
Alright buddy, this is 2nd gear. This is only really ever meant for on-road use, not off-road, so... Well, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens.
I released the clutch and instantly was pressed back against the command seat. The extra momentum gained from 2nd gear actually gave me a boost up the cliff, but I had to be careful at where I placed the wheels, as there seemed to be some sort of a sinkhole in the middle. As the front wheels were spinning at the top of the hill, they managed to find traction and pull me through. And that right there is why these Earth Roamers sold so well before the war.
Oh! Ooh!
Safely sat at the top of the hill, I hopped out and switched the gears back to gear 1, off-road. I decided to head on over to the farmer and let him know that I got the Earth Roamer up the hill. How exciting! I'm sure he'll be ecstatic and so proud of what I've achieved.
What are you, crazy? You could have driven that thing right into my house.
I know. I'm sorry. That those rubber marks will go away. I promise. Look, I might have to stay here for a day or two. I need.
What do you mean a day or two?
Yeah, you heard the explosion?
Yeah.
Well, it worked. As you can see, I got the roamer free, but
Obviously.
I kind of blew up half of the front right tire in the meantime. I had to rebuild it down in there by the lake, and and I only just managed to get it up here, so...
The sooner it's fixed, the sooner you're gone.
Alright, well, do you have any materials that I can at least get the wheel up off the ground?
Sure. Take this bamboo as scaffolding.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Alright, well, that wasn't the warm welcome that I was expecting from Hubert, his name was. But he did agree to help me, although I think it was just to get me out of his property as soon as possible. He lent me a spade and a bit of scaffolding to use to build up around the wheel, so I spent the afternoon shoveling dirt and getting this wheel in the air. Once the wheel was in the air and the scaffolding was placed, the sun started to set and it was no longer safe to be outside. Hubert and I retreated inside and left a little space for Buddy in between. No, I'm just kidding, we didn't sleep in the same bed. Of course not. You'd be crazy if you're thinking that.